Hey there friends, it's Andrew with Low Effort Gardening. Baking soda is a treasure for vegetable gardens, flower beds, and even some fruit trees. It won't feed your plants, but it can solve a few major garden problems. Today, I'll show you 3 smart ways to use baking soda in the garden. And one big warning you should know before you even try it. Before we do though, like and subscribe if you're new. It's free and it'll help make sure that you don't miss any practical gardening advice and tips. So let's get into it. First up, baking soda is a natural fungicide. If you've ever dealt with powdery mildew on squash, cucumbers, tomatoes, or even roses, you know how frustrating it can be. It spreads fast, it weakens your plants, and it can ruin a whole crop if you don't catch it soon enough. Here's a simple mix. Add 1 tablespoon of baking soda to 1 gallon of water. Easy to remember. Then add a few drops of dish soap or horticultural oil. And that helps stick everything to the leaves instead of having it just run off. Spray it onto the leaves once a week. It won't cure leaves that are already badly infected, but it can slow down the spread and protect healthy leaves from getting worse. So why? Why does this work? It's actually simple chemistry. Powdery mildew fungi thrive when the surface of the leaf stays slightly acidic to neutral. But when we spray baking soda, we change that. It raises the pH from leaf surfaces, making it more alkaline, basic, usually somewhere above pH of 8. That higher pH creates an environment that fungus just can't handle very well. The spores struggle to grow and spread. It's like pulling the rug out from underneath them. The soap, or horticultural oil, plays a second role. It helps the solution stick to the leaves, and in some cases, it can even smother fungal spores directly. I like to teach my friends the why things work, so we don't have to look things up every year. It'll be ingrained, it'll be walk-around knowledge. If you like how that sounds, consider subscribing. Think of spraying baking soda on your plants like this. Imagine trying to live in a house where the floor is tilted at a 45-degree angle. You could barely stand, the furniture slides around, and nothing would stay in place. You could technically be there, but surviving in that environment would be miserable. That's exactly what happens to powdery mildew when we change the pH on the leaf surface. The fungus depends on the stable, slightly acidic conditions to grow and reproduce. But when we spray baking soda, we tilt the floor and we create conditions where it simply can't hold on. It struggles, it weakens, and it stops spreading effectively. It's not a silver bullet, and it's not perfect, but if you catch mildew early, this simple trick in the garden can be a real lifesaver. Just remember, test it on a few leaves first, or maybe 1 plant, especially if the weather is hot. And as with anything in the garden, or life, moderation is key. Okay, number 2, baking soda as a pest deterrent. Did you know that you can use baking soda to fight ants without any harsh chemicals? It's simple, it's cheap, and it works too because of basic chemistry. Whether you've got ants sneaking into the garden or trailing across the patio, I'll show you exactly how it works and how to make it even more effective. It's not magic, but it actually works based on how ants' biologies function. This isn't going to get super complicated, trust me. When you dust a baking soda around ant trails or their homes, cracks, or garden edges, it creates a physical barrier they don't like to cross. It's like salt and witches and stuff. But there's more. If you mix 50-50 with powdered sugar, it becomes bait. The sugar attracts the ants, and the baking soda does the damage. Here's how. Ants have highly acidic digestive systems. Baking soda is very basic, it's alkaline. When they ingest it, the baking soda reacts with the acid in their stomach, producing carbon dioxide gas. And unlike humans and dogs, ants cannot burp or release internal gas, so that buildup becomes a problem. God bless you, Charlie. That was my dog sneezing. He burps and sneezes. It isn't going to wipe out an entire metropolis living deep underground. But for small infestations around raised beds, containers, patios, or kitchen counters, Surprisingly effective. Okay, number 3, a quick DIY trick to check your soil's acidity. Here's a quick and surprisingly useful garden hack to check if your soil is acidic. No fancy equipment, just a scoop of moist soil into a bowl, sprinkle baking soda right on top, and watch what happens. If it fizzes, like bubbles forming, that means your soil is acidic. It's a basic acid-base reaction. Baking soda is alkaline, and when it contacts acid soil, it reacts with the free hydrogen ions and releases carbon dioxide gas. That's what causes the fizz. If nothing happens, your soil is likely neutral or alkaline. Now, this won't replace a proper soil test. You won't get exact numbers, but it's a fast way to get a general idea of where your soil stands, and it's free, just like subscribing. So, where should it be? Most vegetables prefer a pH between 6 and 7. That's slightly acidic to neutral. This is the sweet spot where nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are most available to plants. There are some exceptions. Blueberries, rhododendrons, and azaleas like it more acidic, down to around 4.5 to 5.5. And on the other hand, plants like asparagus and brassicas like kale and cabbage, beets, are a bit more tolerant of neutral to slightly basic soils. If your soil is out of range, don't panic. Compost, sulfur, or lime can help adjust it over time. But even knowing whether you're acidic or alkaline gives you a big advantage. It makes gardening decisions easier and better. If you've made it this far into the video, you're officially one of my favorite viewers. Most people don't stick around this long, and I really appreciate it. Drop me a comment, even if you never comment on videos. Just say, I'm here, or something like that, so that I know you're one of the real ones. Okay, one more heads up. Like we mentioned, baking soda raises pH. That's exactly why it works against things like mildew or acidic environments, pests that pests rely on. But if you dump too much directly onto the soil, you risk shifting the pH too far towards alkaline, and that creates a new problem because most garden vegetables prefer slightly acidic soils, usually in the 6 to 6.8 range. If the soil becomes too alkaline, it locks up nutrients like iron, phosphorus, and manganese. You might start seeing yellowing leaves, poor growth, or nutrient deficiencies. And that's not because you didn't fertilize, it's because the plant simply can't access what's already there. So while baking soda is a great tool for surface treatments like mildew, ants, or small pH tests, it's not something that you should throw around willy-nilly as a general fertilizer or a soil amendment. Treat it like what it is. It's a surgical tool, not an everyday input. And if you found this helpful, there's plenty more where this came from. For real-time, week-by-week updates on what's growing, on what's struggling, and how I'm solving certain problems as they come up, check out my garden update playlist. It's the best way to follow along and learn right from the garden as the season unfolds. And a huge thank you to Jerry D, our channel member. Your support is special to me. It keeps me wanting to make more videos and make them better. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. I'm Andrew from Low Effort Gardening. Thanks for watching.